Hello, Tom here for MatterMachine. So what we're looking at here on the left side is MatterMachine, the MatterMachine graph. And what I can do in here is, for example, create a camera. And we're going to open that camera up, all the properties of it, so to a 90-degree field of view. And what we're seeing here on the right is the MatterMachine view. You can see it's connected to the Oculus Rift, well, in this case, DK2. And additionally, I've connected up MatterMachine to the Leap Motion, which I have here in front of me. And if I reach in, you can see my hands up here in the MatterMachine view. Now, what can we do with this? Well, we've created a few extra nodes here in the MatterMachine graph. For example, the leap hand. So if I take the leap left hand here for a second and look at the outputs, you can see we're outputting the grab strength, pinch strength, palm position, etc., etc. What can we do with that? Well, we can, for example, create a label, which is a type of geometry in our graph, and currently the label by default shows a default value of 0. So if I take the pinch strength here, connect that to the value of the label, and reach in this case with my left hand, we can pass the pinch value of the left hand to that label and display it. So of course we can do other things like setting the radius of the sphere. So let's connect the sphere to the camera here and take the pinch strength of the left hand, connect to the radius, and again we can connect the pinch strength of the left hand here to the radius of the sphere. So that's the sort of things you can do in MatterMachine natively, and we've connected it up to the Leap Motion, and in this case the Oculus. So I can put it on here and see my sphere right in front of me. But let's show you a little bit more of an advanced example. What I've created here is a application to model a ring that can later be 3D printed. I'll load this up. MatterMachine will load the graph for this. And what you see on the right is the result of this visual coding exercise here. And you can recognize a couple of things. There's a leap hands, and all the way on the right here, you can see a couple of cameras. And this is, in this instance, is the camera that we're seeing here in the view. And all the rest is just logic and parametric geometry, visually coded essentially. You can see a whole bunch of Boolean logic here, a bit of math. All the white nodes represent geometry. So for example, the ring, this curve, etc., etc. We're all visually coded in a MatterMachine graph. Let's have a closer look at what the application does. So one of the first things we can do, there's a few modes here. So let me first show you the interaction. So if I look down, the ring kind of tilts down and tilts back up. So those are just two ways of seeing the ring. First, you look around. When I look left or right, I can switch editing modes. There's 3 editing modes that can randomly get chosen depending on which direction I look. So let's start with the base module here, and I can reach in with my 2 hands, and if I make 2 fists, I can scale the ring depending on the distance between my 2 fists. That's kind of the simplest thing we can do here. Also just reach in with my right hand and modify the thickness of the ring by moving up and down, and the width of the ring by moving left and right. Another thing I can do here, looking up at that red line up there, I'll bring it back for a sec, and if I reach in with my left hand, I can start, depending on the height of my hand, I can start modeling the profile of that curve. The leap is having a bit of trouble here. But, okay, if I, where's the leap? Right there. I was too close to the leap. So if I lift up and down here, the profile of the curve gets changed. And the profile of the curve kind of informs how the profile of the center spine of the ring, as you can see. And we can start affecting that spine of the ring in a few other ways. So this is another module here that allows you to choose kind of the profile of that spine. I'm going to choose something a little pointy. There we go. With the right hand, I can set the power of that curve. Don't make it too sharp. Oh. And then, there we go. Release. And then in a third module, this one here, I can set the amplitude of that spine. You can see it's affecting the curve there as well. And then on the left, with the left hand, I can cycle between a few pictures, a couple pictures of a friend of mine. And when I reach in with two hands and pinch, that virtual line you see on the picture is actually sampling the picture of the intensity of the pixels along that line. So where it's white, the sampling, we can here. Okay, good. I can sample the line. You can see where the pixels in white, the curve goes high. Pixels in black, the curve goes down. And so the sense, and of course that red line gets sampled in the ring again. In the sense I've sampled that memory and kind of frozen it in the ring there. That was kind of the idea. It's a bit aggressive, so maybe choose a more appropriate profile somewhere. There we go. Move it up a little bit. That's it. So my reminder is that everything you see here, all the interaction, the geometry, the environment, everything was coded using MatterMachine's visual graph here.